In a world of blockbuster movies, there's another dimension.
The dimension of schlock cinema. Join us at Beautiful Disasters on a journey into the fringe territory of B-movie abandon.
We review the flicks that are forgotten or underappreciated to give them a proper place in the annals of celluloid history.
I'm the Groots,
F.U. Hunter.
your guides at Beautiful Disasters. Come along with us for a fun ride. May the schlock be with you.
The views and opinions expressed on Geekfather are those of the panelists and not those of the Geeks Under the Influence Network, their affiliates, or sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. This is for the parents and not for the kiddies.
Geekfire!
Can you try one more time? Say Geekfather real loud.
Geekfire way out!
Yowza.
Oh no.
Brown cow.
Brown cow.
We're having to practice, guys. Because welcome back. We missed a whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
We've been radio silent for close to a month now, unfortunately.
I know.
But welcome back. We are the Geekfathers, bringing all the trials and tribulations of being a geeky parent right to your face holes. Preferably your ear ones, because we are audio.
All the way to the cockles of your heart.
That's
even
right.
Into the sub.
I love it when you say cockles.
Yeah.
And the cockle to the right of me, of course, my main dude, fellow bald, fellow glasses wearing, well, when he probably didn't damage him in a car accident.
Oh, yeah.
Smash.
What's up?
What's up, brother?
Did. Those
Yeah.
They actually survived. They flew.
Did they?
I had to have the
Wow.
had to have the cop find them, but
Okay, well,
when he
fair
found
enough.
them, they were fucking in one piece. I was like,
Damn.
these things are indestructible.
All right, guys. If you haven't picked up yet, guys, there, besides a few other things, unfortunately, our buddy Smash here literally lived up to his namesake. Not his fault, but unfortunately, the car did not survive.
It did not.
And
survive.
we'll say you went on concussion protocol for a little while, even though I don't think you had an actual concussion, but
No, I didn't. At least I don't believe I hit my head.
but you're 40, so you're officially in the old man status.
Well, it's crazy is that Thursday before it happened, I turned 40.
Yeah.
And, I went, went over the weekend, went out of town.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys did. You low
we
down
did the
your
horror
brother and Hobbit did Monster Mania,
Mad Monster.
Mad Monster,
Yeah.
and Monster something. You guys went to the horror convention, and I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I was not able to make that one, so
Yes, it was a good time.
yes,
It was definitely, we had we always have a great time up there.
absolutely.
And we honestly, especially because, of age or whatnot, we're actually extremely responsible, and everybody
True.
was like, we had fun, we drank a few beers, but nothing crazy. We just enjoyed it,
Right.
And it was, which is always a good time.
See, and of course, right lately, I've been the past couple days, I've been getting the Facebook memories from the Monster Mania 39, where Jennifer and I took the kids up to Cherry Hill,
Yeah, geez.
and that hot mess of a convention. Even though we had fun,
Yeah.
it was a hot mess.
Yeah, it was a hot mess. I still had a good time.
Absolutely.
But it was definitely, it was shoulder to shoulder, definitely. I mean,
The kids were surprisingly not melting down every 2 minutes.
no.
That was
Like if you wanted to get coffee if there was like a little Starbucks, you had to basically fucking, wait in line, maybe sleep with a sleeping
that
bag.
whole convention was a line.
It really was.
That was probably oh man.
And
The flashbacks on that.
Yeah, and as it's probably been talked about a million times, there's always errors on somebody's
Sure.
part, but probably more than one person in various areas and of course it just kind of got out of hand, which in some way is, it's great for something because it shows that, wow, there's this many people we didn't, but at the same time,
Right.
it's also, it makes you have a good time, but it makes for pretty miserable. Like, you have to wait till after everything's basically done to really...
There was a struggle, and unfortunately, because of the 6-hour drive, and especially the drive we would be having with children.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, that was 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Leland was only a year old, and he's 6 now.
I assume what you guys went through is like the equivalent of a busy day at Disney World.
Close to, yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a busy day and you're trying to... Unless,
at least at Disney World, there are places where you can go sit and chill and be at least
there's a lot of shade, yeah.
Yeah, shade. This was literally asses to elbows, man. I mean...
Yeah, it was.
Really, like, it was crazy. But the kids held tight. Jennifer met one of her most famous people of all time.
Yeah. Got
the tattoo of her autograph, it's Elvira, in case you didn't know. For the listeners, anybody out there. But yeah, by Sunday, when everything was calming down, it was like, man, we've got to hit the road because we can't have these kids like 10, 11 o'clock at night rolling home. We got to get them home before, someone at a decent time. Yeah. And that was like, we discovered a whole new room of the convention that we had no idea. Well, we kind of knew it was there, but couldn't make it for anything.
Yeah.
Because it was so just jumbled.
I can't remember if it was that one or the one after that where I had, I had tried a couple of times to get like Robert Englund's signature picture and had, ordered a couple times. It had to be
the one after that because Robert Englund was not at 39. Yeah.
So it was after that, and then like that following year we went, and it's just I could not get. It was a giant pain. I finally did this past one. What 39 had was one of the bigger ones was John Carpenter. Yeah,
it was John Carpenter that was there with a couple others.
Well, you have there is something to be said for there's a lot of great guests. You have a lot of variety of things to
sure
of stuff people you want to talk to and meet and take pictures of. But the smaller ones, there's more focus. There's more, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's obviously not as shoulder to shoulder. Still busy, still fun. It's fun.
Yeah, well,
it's just not.
There's a difference between busy and a jumbled mess of like people trying to get somewhere.
No lines. So yeah,
lines. There were lines, but somehow the lines crisscrossed. People ended up getting in the wrong line at times.
Well, that generally happens. That happens when you have lines that have nowhere to go. That's true too. You only have a place so big. And there's so many people, and there's so many lines for them not to cross. I can't even.
Yeah, that's.
It'd have to be like concentric, circles, but that somehow lead to like. But each person they want to see.
Oh, God, no. Yeah, it happened. We had fun. Whatever. We did record a very drunken episode that night in the hotel room. I do remember that much.
Oh yes, I mean I remember recording it.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't remember.
Did I ever tell you what happened the next morning when I left? Because that was the one night I stayed in the hotel. Fortunately, because I'm a proper parent, this is still a parenting show.
For sure.
We were staying with friends about 30, 45 minutes away from the convention.
Uh-huh.
That's how again, with the kids and stuff, I'm so glad we did that. But that was, what was it, like Saturday night was the one night because we knew we were recording and I was hanging out with the boys. And so I still wake up early enough trying to be like, all right, I got to go get the kids ready, still help out, maintain, and see what was happening. I didn't talk to him because I knew he was already overtired. But as I was leaving, and this was like 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and after, we basically got maybe a few hours of sleep after drinking quite a bit,
mm-hmm.
Tim Curry is out in his wheelchair. Now, remember, this is still...
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Relatively fresh from having the stroke, and he's out there smoking cigarettes.
Wow.
And I sort of because I'm kind of like, oh, man, I'm still kind of drunk. And I look over at him, and I'm like, I want to say hi, but I'm that weirdo now because the convention's not even open, and I know you can smell booze on me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I probably shouldn't talk to him.
Is he still alive?
Absolutely.
Okay. I was trying to think back. I mean, so many people have passed away just in the past few years.
Well, yeah,
it's hard to remember everybody.
Well, and I remember because that was one of the first conventions that, and this episode is probably going to be some extra convention talk. I'm just giving everybody forewarning. I know it's a parenting show, but I think there's still something we should at least tell our specific listeners because certain other people don't listen, and that's obvious. Anyway, that was one of the first conventions Tim Curry did actually after the stroke. He's actually improved since then and done some other stuff. Even though I wasn't a big fan of it, they redid a Rocky Horror Picture Show on like Fox or something. You know, back when they first started doing live performance shows. Mm-hmm. You know, they've done them on random stations for prime time. Like, we're doing a live version of The Sound of Music. Yeah. You know, stuff like that. Yeah. Well, they did that for Rocky Horror Picture Show, added in some things, and he actually played Dr. Scott because Dr. Scott was in the wheelchair. Oh. So he was actually able to do lines and some of the singing for Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I'll have to look that up. I don't remember that at all.
It's what's her face from Orange is the New Black? What's her name?
That's vague.
Well, the trans woman is why it's very specific who plays Dr. Frankenfurter, I believe.
You know what? We're going to text M, the Gem.
M, the Gem.
It's like her favorite show in the world, or one of them.
It should be. Because also that character has some great plot stuff about parenting and everything about being a trans woman as well.
Okay.
So, but while you do that, we should go ahead and let everybody know as well. Unfortunately, due to you were mentioning about errors happening with cons and such, that unfortunately we will not be doing a live panel at Galaxycon this year on the weekend of, the 24th through the 26th, I believe, of March.
That weekend.
I mean, I understand about being professional, but at the same time, being professional also means not telling us that we're approved for a slot and then saying, oh no, sorry, we only have time slots for 2 or 3 of your shows out of the 9 we said you were originally approved for.
Yeah. It seems like something broke down in the communication chain.
Right. And that's the whole thing is that I think the communication to us, it funnels through Hobbit, which is fine. And I think the weird part is that it was all within an hour or two on getting both communications of the confirmation of, yes, you have 9 shows, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you only have time slots here, here, and here for these shows.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's frustrating because I'm going to bring up the parenting early as well, is that I know as a parent myself, as what I was taught as a child, is that you better have your shit ready. Not exactly quoted to me like that, but this is how I say it, to myself at least. Have your shit ready before you start saying and answering stuff.
Right. Have your facts together.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is...
cross your T's, dot your I's.
As a parent, as a person of business myself, really?
It was
really frustrating because this was
upsetting.
2 years in a row.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is that, we'll have 1 million listeners and that's fine, but the last time that we were able to do it and we had the pleasure doing it, we filled the room. It was a great time. We had
absolutely.
And I don't think it's anything one way or another against any show or anybody at all.
No,
I think it's just, I think, somebody didn't have all the facts or maybe weren't given all of the facts prior to confirmation. Like you said, you need to have all the facts. And although mistakes do happen, like we said, this is a couple years in a row now. And I know previously they were trying to, they had kind of blown up, I guess, and we're trying to get it, get that sort of organized. I'm sure that had to be part of the reason, but this time it's kind of like, okay. And I was, really excited. And don't get me wrong, like they put on a great venue. I love going. It's awesome.
Yes.
It really is. So at the same time, just especially in our area of the podcasting or the live panels seem to kind of just go awry. I am pissed about it. I would love to say why specifically, but I don't have any specifics to really say that, No. Shit got fucked up.
Yeah, so someone messed up, someone did not either communicate something properly or someone did not double check their facts. Mm-hmm. Is basically the only answer we can give.
I can give another answer.
Sure.
Laverne Cox.
Thank you.
plays the trans woman on Orange is the New Black.
Well, she is a trans woman.
Or excuse me, yes. But her,
yes.
I meant the character she plays as well. Yes.
Well, yeah, her character is trans in the show as well. The great part about that, what they did to show before she, in the show at least, not in real life, to show, like, you know, the flashback scenes, she has a twin brother that played the same character before the operation happened.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they were able to use her brother as part of the show, as the flashback scene, and show some stuff.
That's crazy.
And she has a son in the show. So that's why I say it's kind of related. Like, she had to sit there and explain to her now ex-wife and her son why she was in prison, but yet still try to be a parent. It was a pretty cool little side story for the whole series.
Yeah. That's a tough situation to be in. I can only imagine.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, for sure. I mean, from a parenting aspect, I can understand the fear. Like, you know, it's always that you've been out, especially as a parent, geek or not. We're human's a human, but if you're a parent, you know, and you've gone out and something has happened, or I'll tell you a specific story. I remember I was probably, I want to say 16, 17, and I was at Regency Mall with my mom.
Ooh, Regency.
Yeah. And we were at the top level on the right. We were walking, I think probably walking towards like JCPenney's or something. And there was like a group of 3 guys, younger but older than me, probably in their 20s.
Very early 20s, something, yeah.
Yeah, and, you know, very rude. Like, they just kind of walked in and, like, bumped into her. And I remember, like, turning into, like, Wolverine, and she had to, like, literally pull me back, almost like I had a leash. Yeah. Actually, the story just popped into my head. I forgot what I was even going with it. Now I'm a little emotional.
It's still it's a protective thing, regardless.
Yeah. But, you know, like, my point being is that I'm sure as my mom, you know, saw me almost get into it like that, she was even more mad. You know what I mean? And so she probably in her head was like, I could kill you, not at me. You know, I could kill you. You know, and you think it, you know, and your fear as a parent is like, man, if this ever happens, like, to my kid, like, I'm going to have to do this and go to jail. Like, I know you've said it, every parent has said it to themselves in some form or fashion. So
there has been, like, people say it as an adult in general, or certain things, but as a parent for years, you're sitting there going, how do I handle this situation? Will it put me in jail? Will it put me in some type of weird dire straits? Think about it. Like, you're going down that list.
Hell, you even start going, all right, I'm looking, okay, the exits are there, you know, just in case I've got to run. Like, and not because you're a criminal, and I would hope that people don't generally think it all the time, because then there might be something wrong. Well, there
is that is a different situation.
Every human being, especially that's a parent, at least specifically, can know to be in certain situations where it took every ounce of your energy to hold yourself back from either saying something or doing something that you knew.
Use your
10
words,
minutes prior,
not your fist. Use your words, not your fist.
You knew walking into this. You knew, like, it was like an instinct before. You just like, I'm gonna go to jail. Should I go to jail? No, then they don't have anybody. So I could do it this way, but I really want to.
Would I only go to jail for one night, or would it actually be for a few days?
Like, if I just punched them, like, is that going to be, you know, they fall back and hit their head? That's bad.
Right.
You know, I want to kill him. You know, but then you're like, you know, so I guess it's kind of funny to be in that situation. So I can imagine in that show, because I know I've watched it with Jem, they've done a really good job. And I've seen those situations come up, and I'm like, those are like the worst case scenarios I've ever imagined.
Absolutely.
Like, oh man, if I do this, you know, for saying this to my kid or whatever, not another kid, but parents, random people out. Like, you go to the store, you go to Walmart, it gets difficult sometimes.
Some hairy stuff, man. Like, it's like, I don't know, man, where you're just like, or even those situations where you're just like, there is something going on over there, I'm gonna go over here.
Yeah.
You know, where you're just like, Normally, I would just walk right by it, but then you're like, I don't
Yeah.
need a can of peas being chucked at my kid for some reason. It may not even be chucked at them.
Yeah.
But we get in the way because
Yeah.
we walk too close or something.
Yeah.
You know, weird. You
Right.
know, like, you go through the various scenarios.
Yeah.
It's,
Then you start turning, like, right in that moment, you just know that you're going to, like, you basically turn into the Terminator. You don't, you're just going to run. And I'm not saying a gun or anything, but I'm saying, like, you want to run and, like, punch him in the face.
Oh, yeah,
that sort of thing. You're like, nothing can stop me from getting over to you if you hurt my child.
And I'm probably going to be very casual about it, too. It's not like you're running over, like, whoa, blah, blah. No, I'm just going to be like...
So, if you can portray that, especially through the lens of already being in jail, you've already fucked up.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe not for that reason, but for some, yes, I guess. Within the show, you never know. People are there for a variety of things.
Yes, very much so.
But I guess she did a very good job. Very sure.
She did.
Everybody did,
that was her breakout role, too. Like, she's been doing other stuff since then.
Yeah.
But that was her breakout role as a trans woman, being very upfront about it. And they use that for the show, that she's a trans woman in the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it was able to do a real good play on real life, if you will.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it's a great show. If you haven't seen it, like, go see it. I originally, like...
If you compare it to the book, I never actually read the book, I'll be honest, but from what I understand, don't say that the show is not going to be like the book, period. There's the first season takes chunks, but I've even seen some interviews with the woman who wrote it and stuff, and they, right off the bat, go way off base. Like, it's just like, this is a TV show. You wrote an autobiography. Different shit's happening.
Right.
So just... I
didn't know
that out there.
I didn't know it was a book.
Actually, well, it was a very interesting story because the original setup is... And again, I'm horrible with the names, but the main character, it was one of those things where she was kind of living a life, but not really knowing illegal stuff happening, and just some of her mishaps during prison during this time.
Yeah.
And then, got out. She was actually like, what happened to me was pretty tame compared to the show. But also, and this is no slight against her, it was Diablo Cody who did the show and everything. And she's written a bunch of, like, she helped write, or I think she helped create Weeds. That show Weeds, that was on
I remember
Showtime.
the show for sure.
Yeah,
yes.
like... And
that was a good show. Or the earlier seasons, I think, were good.
Yeah,
I lost track somewhere.
The last couple seasons got a little...
I don't think I finished it all.
But Diablo Cody is very known for creating these characters who always trip up over themselves, or they're like, this is the way most people would do it, but I'm going to do it this way because I think it's better. And it just causes the mayhem. Right. That type.
Like, they have good intention, like Road to Hell.
Not even good intentions, just like, I think this would work better for us. And that's it. Like
tunnel visioned.
Yeah, we have a chance to get, like, for Weeds. A few times there's like, we have a chance to be totally out of the game, away from all the gangsters, mobsters, doing different stuff, and living a normal life with a decent amount of money in your pocket. I think we should start selling weed again.
Right.
Yeah. It's
You're really just doing it for yourself.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So that's kind of the take that Diablo Cody does, and it works. I mean, it's very good. You just got to limit your seasons, I think. I think some of the shows just kind of go too far. Mm-hmm. Trying to be like, how can we, because you got to try to beat out the previous season. Yeah. So you have to go grander or more extravagant with how you're doing it. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm pretty sure that's what happened with Weeds, But again, but Diablo Cody is a great writer, though.
I'm surprised it doesn't come back, and then all of a sudden the kids are now running the family business.
Most of those actors have gone on and done other stuff, and they're not.
Yeah, and I don't think it's worth trying after Breaking Bad.
Yeah, any drug show has,
or even Better Call Saul, which I haven't finished, so don't spoil for me.
I still haven't even watched Breaking Bad, so.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Are you... What?
Sorry, man.
What?
I know. Our old man.
Yeah.
But when that show was coming on and doing all that was one of those times where it was not easy to watch with the age of the kids and work schedules and stuff, so... And I just haven't had a chance to sit down there and binge it.
It's like
I love Bryan
pretty
Cranston.
old right now. Pretty old by now. Okay. All right.
Dude, the big
I know you've binged some bullshit where you could have binged that. Where at the end of it you went, fuck, that was a waste of time. And you probably knew it going in, but you did it anyways.
True.
I know I've done.
But the old man complaint to me still is that there's way too much content out there. I'm still catching up on certain shit from even older than Breaking Bad.
Listen.
So
Breaking Bad, and my brother used to say that, and everybody that I knew watched it. I came in late in the game. I came in when it was already in like the beginning or fourth season.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I had already come in late in the game. But, my brother was like a huge fan, and I heard other people talk well about it. And it's like, no, it's the best TV show like ever made. Especially structurally, story-wise, execution arc. They were like, it's the best like TV show. And I was like, that's a high bar. So by the time I actually got to the finale had come and gone, but by a while.
Right. Right.
So I had to like block everything out for a long time, and I'll tell you, like, once I got to the end of it, and this is before. I want to say, was this before Lorelai was born?
No, she had to be around when Breaking Bad was still out.
She was. Was that 2013? I can't remember. I'm old. I'll have to Google that shit later.
Fair.
Yeah, but I remember getting to the end of it, and by the final episode, and I was like, shit. I mean, structurally, story-wise, acting, pace, everything about that show, it's perfect. I mean, it's pretty much the best TV show ever made.
Do you want me to make you cringe again? I've never watched Lost.
That doesn't make me cringe.
Okay.
I watched Lost.
For a lot of people, I say that, and they're like, oh my God. And I was like, sorry? I mean,
I remember, it's so long ago, but I remember watching it. In the first 2 seasons, I was like in it, and then I kind of caught up way after the fact, because right before it had ended, I kind of caught up, and I was like, by the end, I was like, yeah, that's the bullshit that I expected. And I'll tell you why. Because, they put too many eggs in one basket. They ran out of ideas. They didn't know which way to take shit, and just all fucking fell apart.
Yeah, where they were really trying to go out in left field, but not in a very creative way, I guess, was the best way to put it. So,
well, J.J. Abrams and them, he was able to shift his efforts to like something like Fringe, which I love that show.
Now, Fringe I have seen, and I love Fringe.
And actually, the best season of Fringe for me is the 5th season.
Oh, because they go so deep into the
parallel
universe and all that. Yeah,
it's actually an entirely different show with now like a totally shifted storyline. You have all the memories and the baggage from the previous seasons, but you like they do it so well. I was very impressed, and that was because the show was getting cut off. Or they got canceled.
It was one of those where
it was too expensive.
Yeah, they knew they were getting canceled, so they had a chance to somewhat wrap up stuff, but they still needed like technically 2 more seasons to wrap up all their loose ends.
Well, by the fourth season, they said the 5th season that they're going to cancel. So I think that for a little while they were going to take the show already in that direction and get there organically.
Right.
But by the time they actually got to it, forced into it, they knew they had to. I assume he put every piece of budget they could, because the 5th season looks great. It just, the whole show looks good, but the 5th season specifically,
absolutely
was beautiful. Was mwah. But he kind of I think he got some redemption on that. And I think he went on to, of course he did.
Well, he ended up getting Star Trek, then Star Wars, and
he did Star Trek
and then got out of TV for a little while.
Well, he did Star Trek and then Super 8 and then Star Wars, right?
Well, yeah, proper timeline.
Was that proper timeline?
You know what? Super 8 might have been before Star Trek.
No, I think it was after Star Trek.
Because that was kind of his ode to Steven Spielberg, and then that was kind of like you are a science fiction dude.
Yeah, no, Star Trek is really what did it for him. But if you actually watch Fringe, I'm trying to think of the exact timeline.
Fringe is sci-fi deep.
But it's totally him, because you still get his production company, Bad Robot, at the time. He was still heavily involved in a lot of it.
Oh, for sure.
the
Yeah,
most part.
I mean, that company has grown. That Bad Robot has multiple projects happening now.
Light glimmer, the shimmer.
Yeah, where
he
he basically sits there and maybe goes, "Cool, I like this idea. Maybe do this," and he puts his little touch on it, and then his creators go and do
who else loves to do that? Is Zack Snyder. When he has any scenes like of like,
oh yeah, you're right.
Peaceful places or like the sun, he likes to do that sort of like light traveling and reflecting off thing.
Yeah, the glare.
The glare.
Oh, what is it? What is it called?
The shimmer.
Because it's not a shimmer, but it's like almost blinding, but not quite.
Yeah,
like type light.
It's like a pulse almost.
There's a certain phrase that I've heard used for it, and I cannot remember what it was.
I don't know. I've forgotten a lot. I think I've forgotten information since the car wreck. I'll tell you that. And I told my kid this. So I call and of course, I call my daughter and I tell her, I say, listen, but I'm alive. I'm okay. She was upset.
Sure. Yeah.
But she wasn't, I guess because she, talked to me on the phone first and I had, I was able to have a conversation with her and it had already been, I waited 24 hours. So I didn't want to be like, oh, this just happened.
Yeah, I'm sitting on the side of the street right now with a wrecked car. No,
right.
That's not a good one to have.
No, at all. And she was with her mom, so at the time. So I was able to I had 24 hours and I was able to kind of rest. And then because I was going to have her because she was coming back and then she was with me that weekend, of course.
Yeah.
So I had to tell her regardless. She's just going to know when the car wasn't there. That was an awkward. But once I told her, she was, she was like, well, I'm glad you're, alive.
Well, was it the traditional, now everything's fine, but this happened?
Yeah, and it's funny because the reaction, I don't know what I expected, but the reaction was, the best way to put it is concern and love, but lackluster at the same time. It was like, all right, I love you. Glad you're alive. You know what I mean? But it wasn't worry. She's like, I can see you. You're not all jacked up. Your face isn't cut up or anything.
There's no major injury. Yeah. And that's the great thing about the kids, how the kids are able to just, well, you're good? Fine. Let's move on. Yeah. Let's just move on. And
she could be at the point, be like, oh, you're live. I love you. I'm going to go away now. I just want to, she's at that stage. She just wants to be away.
I've got a friend here, or I got to go do this. I'll see,
I got to go call a friend and they'll do video chats and they'll sit, for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
While
Absolutely.
She will. She does it. Oh, yeah. It happens all the time. Yeah. I'm like, I missed you, kid. And, an hour later, it's like, love you. And then she goes upstairs.
Right.
See her for dinner.
She's like, she's like, you got my time. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And then, but she still has to be a kid.
Right.
So I totally get it. And with timing now, too, actually, that's going to be a great way to...
Oh, man, we've been talking for a while.
We're over our 30-minute mark.
Wow. All right.
So I figured it would be a good time to bring in maybe some calm parenting, which I kind of already went on my tangent. I'm using the real life, because I'm not kidding, regardless of the con and stuff, that is always, and even with the business, the businesses that you and I work in, that is needed. If your parents didn't tell you, why are you in this business, why did you not learn this already? Of get your facts straight before you're giving an answer.
Yeah.
And and even if you don't have the answer, sitting there going, this is what it should be, but I'm double checking.
Yeah.
So, it's like
double,
one of those,
triple, quadruple check if you need to.
Right.
It's very, very important.
And that's the way we should look at it, and the way we kind of need to with Galaxycon for GUI and stuff is that it is a business thing.
Yeah.
So we're ranting a little bit. It's frustrating, but at the same time, that's where, okay, cool. So you guys are still a business. We're still a business, or how we do our business, whatever. Right. I'm not going to just keep saying business the rest of the show.
Business.
That's
right. We're going to compare our business cards.
But it's also the fact of, we've still supported you now 2 years running, and you've jacked us up, man, on our panels.
Yeah.
But we're small potatoes. This year has Star Trek people and wrestlers and everything else. You've still got to have your local market, man.
Especially in Richmond.
absolutely
a lot of artists in Richmond. Coming from a lot of different artistic angles or backgrounds.
Yeah.
And whatever you want to consider that to be. I wouldn't even dare to go down the list, but podcast is definitely in that realm, just like anything else.
Yeah.
And if that's a route they go, or if they end up bringing in more less local and more known, unfortunately, I don't know if you can shift that tide. And at the same time, as long as there's still a platform for local. At these things, especially like something like Galaxycon, if they can keep local in there in that mix, like you said, it's important, and even local artists.
Well, see, and that's the biggest fear. What some people may not realize. Here's the real old man tangent on it. For us who remember the cons of yesteryear, Wizard World started out great, same as Galaxycon.
Yeah,
there are starting to be similarities now to where, cool. We're going to get every celebrity we can get our hands in, shove people in, Monster Mania, just shove them in a line, get their money, tell the celebrity they have 2 minutes to talk to this person and get them the fuck out.
I'd never went to one of those.
Wizard World, I'm glad I went to one of the better years of that one. It was like it was like the first or second one. It was the one where... The three main people that we met that really stand out was, you would have been happy. Logan he was only a baby to show how long ago it was. He's almost 9. And he was not even a year old or close to a year old when this happened. And he was wearing a Superman onesie and outfit.
Super cute.
Yes. But part of the reason why we did that, we got to meet John Schneider.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Yeah. But
not your child, but you. You son of a bitch.
I know.
I did not know you met John Schneider.
Yes.
You've never told me this.
Really? I will show you pictures.
No, don't do that. I think I'm genuinely
I'm
upset.
sorry. It was 4 people at the con that were great. It was John Schneider. Billy Piper, better known for the first companion when Doctor Who rebooted.
That was not a Doctor Who guy.
But you know who Billy Piper is. I know you know. You've seen her.
Yeah, the one. Is it her?
Yeah.
You said her?
Yes, Billy Piper is a lady.
Okay.
She was the first companion when... Why am I forgetting his name? When Christopher Eccleston started being the Doctor again. That first... Wow. And then she was the companion for a good chunk of the David Tennant Doctor Who.
Now, David Tennant, I know.
Yes.
Sure.
I would hope you would know him by now.
I would probably know the picture, but off the top, when I'm hearing the name, it doesn't ring a bell.
But she was an absolute sweetheart with everything. I can never say his name right, so I'll just say Milo. And he played in Heroes. He played Rocky's son in Rocky 5.
Famiglio, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I butcher a name like that, and I apologize. Yeah. He was super awesome. He's a super nice dude. Love him to death. And then...
He's a good actor. I like him.
Oh, I love his stuff.
I think he was like Peter Petrelli as his character.
Yeah, it was Heroes.
On Heroes. And he was good.
Oh, dude, that was one of the greatest characters ever for that show. Absolutely.
Yeah, that was another lost situation. They lost the...
That was a writer's strike situation for them.
They lost the story, and then they tried to... It just kind of went haywire. It was hard to follow.
It did. It wasn't a bad story, but they couldn't come full circle with it.
Then it was a carnival thing.
Yeah.
It was a whole...
Which, again, I love the carnival angle for it, but at the same time, they weren't able to finish it properly.
Yeah, well, this is true nerd tangent. I'll tell you.
Yeah, absolutely. But the fourth and we met a couple other people, but the fourth person that we truly met there, that was one of the nicest people, did not pay a dime to, got a selfie with him, and he talked to us, very respectful, was, all 4 of them were very sweet with Logan. Doug Jones.
Oh, yeah?
Dude, we were walking, and he was walking by, and it was like, oh, hey, Doug Jones. And he goes, hey, guys, blah, 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 and talks to us. Hey, man, do you mind a selfie? Sure. Not at his table, nothing. We go, snap, snap. Thanks, guys. Talk to him a few minutes more. He goes, well, I got to go, but I'll see you guys later today.
Yeah.
And walks away.
Yeah, different times.
Different times. But then Wizard World, back to the original tangent, Wizard World, it just basically became like the assembly line of, Yeah, go smile pretty at the celebrity, get the money, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And that really, between what's happened with the panels, and last year wasn't too bad, but I'm looking, the way things look like they've been going this year, they're trying to put too much into a one weekend, almost. And I'm just like, I know conventions can be big, and you don't always get to do everything at every convention, but it's getting huge, even for the Richmond Convention Center.
Yeah.
It's getting big. And that just has that fear in me of just like it's going to turn into the money machine, which I know they're there to make money. They got to make the money to keep doing what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. Again, that there's a line between just business, making your profit to pay your people, do what you got to do, and then greed. There is still a separation of greed from running a proper business, making profit, and making a paycheck.
Yeah.
And there are times where I look and you try to instill that with your kids as well. Like, hey, yeah, we're going to go try to see the famous people, and hopefully it's one of the ones that we like, and they're not just in there trying to make, hey, kid, high five, now give me $50.
Yeah, it's definitely a tightrope to walk on those situations, because you do want to teach them a good lesson. I mean, at the same time, like, you don't want to be like, oh, well, big is always bad. It's not necessarily just because it's a large venue. It doesn't mean it's going to be bad. Exactly. But it just, at this end, how do you tell your kid, like, don't meet your heroes, like, or don't meet the ones that you're cool. Like, for example, and I know I've probably told this story a long time ago, but many years ago, I took my daughter to go see like they had like the original Power Rangers. Right, yeah. We're at the VA Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
And we, I brought her there, and she met the Red Ranger, who I think is now indicted for some sort of embezzlement thing.
Yeah, I think we've talked about that before.
Which is quite, But, she got to meet him, and it was one of those things where he was okay. It was kind of dick. And did not like Jason David Frank, the Green Ranger, rest in peace.
Yes.
I don't remember. And, I didn't learn any fact. I mean, after a few minutes of talking to him, he was all right, but it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, I don't need you to be the Red Ranger, but just remember that this is a little kid, so...
Just be a decent dude.
Yeah. And I guess, it remains to be seen. I don't want to say who he is and who he isn't. I had a short interaction with him, but in terms of the meet your heroes things, I will kind of tell you that, I was at the age of 10, I was a huge fan. Yeah. And I love the Power Rangers at 10 or 11. I only lasted a couple of years or a couple of seasons, maybe 3.
Sure, yeah.
I kind of was tapered off, but I was definitely a nerd that watched it a little too late in life, 12, Fair. 13.
Yeah.
But I got to so for me, it was meeting somebody, I was like, holy shit, because I had already met the Green Ranger, so I went, meeting him, I was like, man. And it was one of those things where it's I guess don't meet your heroes. And you don't want to say that about everybody, because you don't know.
And the thing, as we learned too, is that everybody's human.
Yeah. People have bad days.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's because I know, that's one of the great GUI debates, even is well, I met so-and-so, he was an asshole, or she was a bitch. And, well, when I met him, he or she was just fine, and they were actually extra nice and did this extra thing. And it was just
they were cool. They were, kind of an ass, and they were kind of... I'll tell you who, I don't know if he was cool or not. I know he kind of looked cool, but it was definitely it was definitely a posturing, almost peacocking sort of Dylan McDermott was that Mad Monster. And I'm sure he's perfectly nice. Honestly, I have no idea. There was definitely a line of people, and he seemed to be interacting pretty well. I have no idea about that, but he was definitely the way I've never seen him in person. So he walked past, and he's kind of he's in a tall, high top chair, I believe, and he's got this black turtleneck with this black tight leather jacket on, and he's kind of looking at his phone. He's leaning sort of thing, and I was just he had a
gangster lean going on.
Yeah, but that's what I love about those type of things, and that my kid is that you don't know who, because they're playing a part. That's not who they are as people.
Exactly.
So it's always interesting to see how they are out in the world, how they interact. I'll tell you, Alex Winter is one of the nicest people ever.
Yeah, but I've also heard that someone had a bad interaction with him at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like...
It just depends on the day, huh?
Yeah, it's really funny. And then, well, unfortunately, you do have the ones that are consistent with their behavior,
Yeah.
So it just...
and I'm sure, Robert Englund is always cool.
As me personally, and even for my children who they've been able to meet, even as early in life, we've been very fortunate to where they have not had any bad experiences. And even my experiences are very bare minimum.
Yeah.
To where I'm willing to chalk it up to a certain situation, but it was still kind of uncalled for one of my big ones that I complain about sometimes. But I'm not going to worry about it now.
Oh, no.
So.
Yeah, I can throw it out there?
No, I've talked about it enough. I'll make you go through the GUI catalog because I've definitely talked about it on
I do want to say, and I'm sure I said it, well, I don't know if I've ever said it before, but Ross Marquand plays Aaron on The Walking Dead. And at this point, I believe by the end of The Walking Dead, he had like one arm or one hand, but he had like a metal hand. Almost like...
Game of Thrones?
No, almost like the early Walking Dead like season.
Because I'm totally behind on Walking Dead, so I'm not 100%
you might.
sure
You might know him, but he also. I'll tell you real quick. He also played. He was in The Walking Dead. He is essentially Red Skull.
Oh yeah, okay, that's who I thought you were talking about. Yeah.
It looks like he got a credit in Quantumania too. Doctor Strange. He's in quite a few things.
Okay.
And he is an amazing impersonator. He does impressions pretty fucking amazing.
Nice.
So, anyways, he was at the con, and I didn't know he was going to be there. I guess he was a late addition.
I think he's going to be at Galaxycon too.
He was. And I didn't go up and talk because he had a lot of people out and all that.
Yeah.
I walking around and looking at stuff. I could hear and watch him interact because you were so close with everything.
Sure. Yeah.
And I was, at this one, this one bin thing for like a while, looking at stuff and looking through, and I could hear it. And he's like the nicest fucking dude.
Awesome.
In the world. Like, it was like...
That's so cool.
It's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he seems cool as shit. And he is. He's super cool.
Yeah, you actually talk to everyone. Watch people. Like, one person that I was... I don't want to say was necessarily iffy on, but it could have gone either way, was Chris Sarandon. Who, if you don't... His big role that a lot of us would know would be Princess Bride or Chucky. Mm-hmm. Child's Play, I should say. And he's one of those, because if you ever see a video where he
Fright
talks...
Night.
Fright Night, yes, absolutely. Where he can kind of, like, he almost seems like prim and proper the way he just presents himself, like, naturally. But again, he's an actor and stuff. Dude, I talked to him. Such a nice dude. Yeah. So, fortunately, most of these are, like, pleasant surprises where you're just like, how are they going to be? Oh, no. And you do try to observe them a little bit going... How are they acting here? How are they doing this?
Mm-hmm.
And
it depends on the older ones. There's some that are much older, been doing it a long time. That
sure, but see what a lot of, and we definitely gotta wrap up here. This has been one old man tangent on the cons again.
We love our kids.
We love our kids. Well, and that's why we do
Geekfathers.
That's why we try to do this stuff so we know how to instruct them on what to look for.
That is true, though. It is true and not only teach that, but teach him how to behave as well. I mean, you don't want to walk up, no matter how fun, like you
may
can
not
be starstruck,
but you got to present yourself as respectful.
And even if you're starstruck, like don't go and touch them if they don't want to be touched. Just like you don't want to be touched. Like there's certain manners that you have.
That's what I was about to bring up too. And that was such the weird time of like that last Galaxycon of 2020, right before the dark times hit.
Yeah.
Where people were just, as the way I was raised and the way I do things, I go shake hands and stuff. And all the famous people were like, whoa, hold on. And you're like, wait a minute, they're not being assholes. The flu, quote unquote, is going around. This coronavirus may happen.
Right.
And so everybody was just being cautious. And it really was one of those things where it's just like, oh, they're not being a jerk.
That's actually, that's actually where I met Will Wheaton. who is
so did
super
Jennifer.
fucking awesome, dude.
Yes.
Sat and talked to me and Jim talked to him for a little bit, and Lorelai was upset. She was at the day before with us.
Yeah.
But she was upset because she didn't get to talk to me and him. She loves big, ever since she was little, it's always been on. So I don't know, she doesn't really watch it, but
she knows it.
She's so comfortable. Yeah. It's part of you know what I mean? So she knows him, and especially, certain things like Star Trek. I've definitely had Next Generation on, and she's seen,
oh, absolutely,
younger version of them. So anyways, so she was a little pissed off talking to him, and I was just like, well, you'll be happy to know that he's super cool, super nice guy, and just kind of allowed us to talk to him for a few minutes without having to pay him, which is fine. I get that you're there also to make money. You're a star.
Absolutely,
you're not there to do it for free. I 100% get that. So he had said $10, I would not have been $20. I would not have been mad at him, but he didn't, and so it was just that was cool.
There have been plenty of times where I have sat there and ended up talking to, say, a celebrity at a con and been like, you know what, I'll go that $10, $20, $30 over my budget or outside of my planned budget.
Yeah.
Because they are being cool. They're not asking for anything. They're just, because so many of these celebrities do appreciate the fans. They know what they're doing with these cons. So it's one of those great things. All I would say is, by all means, if go see your celebrities, just remember to take certain things with a grain of salt. Just be respectful.
Yeah. And make sure you show your kids that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Always show those manners and everything, the respectfulness of another human.
Show that you're more than likely what you put out is what you're going to get back.
Absolutely.
That's always an important thing. And, we're not always perfect. And, most of the time as parents, it's really hard. But that's definitely... You want to leave that with your kid, and going to those sort of things is a good way to do that because there's tons of people, and there's a lot, and there's a lot going on as they get older. As my kid's gotten older, she watches more and she understands more, so she likes more, and so now she's more excited, because she understands it a little more. And so it's a whole different experience now that I like, that I really enjoy with her. But I didn't even go to cons until I had her, basically.
Same with my brother was a late bloomer on the cons as well.
Yeah. They're fun. I would say if you have the money and time to do them all the time, more power to you.
Oh, please. You can go so broke going to a con.
Yeah. I'm once a year maybe.
Yeah. What we would actually prefer you to do is that if you're going to go broke buying something, go see our friends at T Public when you go to geypodcast.com.
Great discounts.
Great discounts.
Great
sales.
Quality. That's right.
Guys, we're wrapping up here. Go check out all the shows. I know we do our old man tangents, but that's just what we do.
Yeah. Hey,
and we appreciate you listening throughout this whole time, guys. What we will be doing first off, again, I'll just reiterate, go to geypodcast.com. Not only, of course, to listen to us, but all the other great shows. GUI Flagship may not be around anymore, but the episodes are still there. Yeah. They're still from the Mouths of Madness, Beautiful Disasters, Smack My Pitch Up. We're all still doing some things, helping the network. And when you go to T Public, that really makes us feel even better. But one thing we are going to do, though, since we cannot do Galaxycon, is that for our next episode, we will be doing the recorded version of what we were going to do at the panel.
It'll be much different, probably a little shorter, but it'll be just
It'll be a little bit shorter, probably, but no interaction. That's the part that's going to kill me.
That was really, really fun to do that.
Yeah, they have that Q&A, get some feedback from the people. But we're going to do our best to give you a video, or no video, please. Face only for audio. Give you a recording of at least a basis of what we plan to do for the panel. So
a fun episode.
It should be a great episode, guys. So thank you very much. I'm going to try to post some extra links in there. We've got still some friends in the community that could always use some help. So keep an eye out for those links there. I'll be posting them. I really haven't talked about them because there's some stuff I just don't know. It's easier that if you do want to help, either just share the love, give $5, share the word, spread the word, whatever it may be. Just we're all in this together, guys. So any final words for you, Smash, on this episode? I know I kind of ran the gambit there at the end trying to transition, but
No, just make sure to check out all the other podcasts that we have at the network. There's a lot of good voices out there and a lot more, hopefully more variety to come out. And just keep an eye out. There will be some of our panels at Galaxycon.
Yeah,
which are beautiful disasters from the Mouths of Madness.
And don't forget also that Murphy is doing their queer horror panel.
That's right.
Friday night.
That's right.
That's the main one that's, I think, separate that they didn't do under GY. They did it on their own. Mm-hmm. So keep that in mind.
You should see them
GY family will still be there all weekend. Yeah. Somebody will still be there.
And and we'll be around. Like we said, we still enjoy it like a bunch
absolutely.
Of
we're nerds.
We're nerds too.
Yeah.
You take the business part out of it, it's just fun.
That's right. Which is what we try to do, guys,
and remember, from me, don't be a dick. Okay?
Amen.
You feel how you want to feel, believe what you want to believe. Just don't be a dick. There are a way to treat people.
That's right. As one of the best pieces of advice I've given to my children, you can feel this way. You can be angry. You can be sad. But it's all about how you act about it.
Yeah. I've used the Batman line, Batman Begins line on my kid. Be like,
of course you did.
It's not who we are in the inside, but what we do that matters. I was totally pulling the Katie Holmes.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt it. I felt it right in my heart.
It's just another great line to throw at your kid and then be like,
it's true. One more nerdy way to parent.
I don't know if she knew what to do with it.
Yeah. See, what you do is throw the lines out there.
Right.
Before they know where it comes from, so when they do hear it or realize where it's at,
they stole that from you. Like, damn right they did.
Yeah, Hollywood's stealing all the good ideas, right there, guys.
All of your old man's best fucking ideas.
So, guys, thank you very much. We really do appreciate you guys keeping up with us. Again, apologies for the time gap. Just between everything happening, it's just been a struggle the past few weeks. But as long as you guys are still listening and just being a part of the GUI family, we will always be thankful, guys. So keep your ears open. More great stuff is coming. Just don't forget, join us.
Or cry.
Coming straight from the Mouths of Madness, I'm Lowdown.
I'm Ep.133.
Do you love horror?
We fucking do.
So this is a podcast dedicated to all things in cinematic horror. We're talking movies, television, composers, special effects artists. We're gonna fucking cover it.
So if you love horror,
embrace the madness.
GUIpodcast.com